What up, beautiful people? So today I'm going to tell you about the glycemic index. So I like to get a little bit sciencey about these things. I feel that it gives you a bit more of an understanding better than other people have, so you can make better informed decisions, and also tell people that they're stupid when they come out with silly claims. So have you ever seen GI, low GI and high GI food? So the glycemic index relates to the amount that a food, carbohydrate-based food, will spike your blood sugar levels. So it works off a system rated from 0 to 100. And the way they determined that initially was to work off 100 as being 50 grams of available carbohydrates in a serving of sugary water. So they made this sugary drink, a load of people drank it, and then they referenced how much that spiked blood sugar. They then basically work everything else off of the back of that. If that scored 100, then rice would score 66. So it's all in relation to each other and how it affects the blood sugar levels. Now, the problem with this is, if you presume that if we're basing this off sugar and 50 grams of available sugar is scored as 100, that makes sugar sound really, really bad, doesn't it? And it makes things like fruit down at 40 and rice up at 65 feel like rice is worse than fruit. But having a higher glycemic index score doesn't mean that it's more unhealthy for you. And so they came up with a different measure called glycemic load. So glycemic load takes into account the serving size that you would have. So for that original GI establishment that they did before, they were using 50 grams of available carbs as the metric for that. So 50 grams of available carbs in sugar is 50 grams of sugar. To get 50 grams of available carbs from white rice, you would need to eat 180 grams or something like that. So this gives us a much more sort of valid representation of what blood sugar actually does in your body versus the serving size you would have. So I'll put on this little graph here for you. So this shows that this sugar that they've used here has a GI of 66, serving size is 5 grams. So the available carbs in that 5 grams is 5 grams. That gives that a GL of 3. If we look at white rice, serving size is 160 grams. The GI is 60. Available carbs in that 160 gram serving is 45, giving it a GL of 27. So you can see there that you could have literally 9 servings of sugar to get the same GL as with white rice. So this is a much better way of not just demonizing something based off its glycemic index, but actually looking at the facts to see what it will really do to your body in a real world situation. So there you go. Now, GI and GL aren't something you need to pay loads of attention to. I think it's just important so that you have a scientific understanding of why things like keto, where you cut carbs out completely, are just ridiculous, and why demonizing sugar is ridiculous, because glycogen broken down is just sugar. It doesn't matter which form you have it, or when it's from a starchy source like white rice, or from fructose like apples. Glucose is glucose. It is just an energy source. And there is no reason, if you're controlling your calories and controlling your protein intake, it's so hard to overindulge on carbohydrates and fats anyway. Super, super hard. So again, as long as you keep these things in balance, I know it's boring, but if you keep these things in balance and you manage your calories, we are all gravy. And there is never a need to do fasting or cutting out carbohydrates as a way to lose weight. Fasting has its own place in dieting based around lifestyles and habits, but it isn't anything to do with some sort of scientific advantage. So yeah, anyway, have a fantastic weekend, guys. Work really hard, hit those steps. Remember, diets work 7 days a week, 30 days a month. Behave yourself, and I'll catch you in a bit. Bye-bye.